Hey, welcome to a new video segment. I'm going to talk about failed games. And not failed as in like, oh, they suck or anything. I'm just talking about games that don't really have a good following, like this game, for instance. So I'm going to talk about Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. This game had a lot of trouble when it was first announced. A lot of people were saying that, oh, it's Resident Evil, acknowledging that it's going to just be a action-oriented game and all this kind of stuff. Like, for instance, like, this is a tactical shooter like SOCOM and, those kind of games. And people were complaining that, oh, why are we using zombies as body shields? And all this stuff. And it had a lot of negative praise at that point. Like, everyone hated it. No one really knew what to make of it. Then when the game came out, reviewers started bashing it, saying the controls are really terrible, the game is glitchy, and all this stuff. And it was just, and it really didn't get a good write-up at all, and it just didn't do good at all. And this is really a weird phenomenon for me, because I actually really like this game. I thought it was a really fun game. Me and my friend really fell in love with it. I just wish it had offline co-op. But the reason why I think this was just a failure in the sense of is, I think the title didn't do much good, because, when you take a brand like Resident Evil that's a well-known franchise and you try to do something completely different, people are just going to, people are just mentally compared to the older games, so people were expecting, maybe this would just be like Resident Evil 4 again, or maybe Resident Evil 2, and when you really got into it, it really wasn't that. It was all, it was overall a revisit or reunion, pretty much, of Resident Evil 2, but it wasn't really it wasn't a true Resident Evil game, and that's really what, and it wasn't even what the developers are promising. Like, if you look at any interview with the developer, or if you look at many of the gameplay footage, they pretty much make it a goal, make it a point to say, this isn't a Resident Evil game. We're not trying to be Resident Evil 6 here, or Resident Evil 5, or we're just trying to make a tactical shooter with zombies and in the Resident Evil mythos that doesn't really impact the timeline. It doesn't, it takes place in Resident Evil 2, but it's not more of like, it's not canon and it's not part of the main series. It's just kind of like almost a what if scenario, or like, this is how what we think happened during then and all that. And that's really what I like about this game. The controls I really don't think are that bad. I actually think they're really fun and easy to there's a learning curve, but it's not that bad of a learning curve. I played other games that are actually well praised that has a more convoluted control scheme, almost. Like Dead Rising 2, I think was take it back, Silent Hill and the older Resident Evil games had the steepest learning curves, and those got the biggest praise. This one doesn't really have that kind of learning curve. I think the only thing that is awkward is just the cover system. But even then, that's not anything to hate. I think the cover system is fine as it is. And other games, I think even like Tomb Raider, the new one, has that same cover system. But really what I like about this game, and I really think that this gets overlooked in everyone's eyes, is it really adds to the tension. Like, it's like Left 4 Dead almost, but more aware of, hey, you're just trying to do these objectives, and the objectives are a lot better than Left 4 Dead. This is a much more realized, this is what Left 4 Dead would like to be, almost. And I really like Operation Raccoon City. I think overall it's a great game. The story is whatever. The story is interesting. I like the idea of it, where it's how Umbrella went about the incident in Raccoon City, rather than seeing it from Leon's perspective or anything. You're seeing it from the villain's side. And there's DLC campaigns for the good guys, but this is more on, let's just focus on Umbrella. What were they doing behind the scenes? And that's really what I like. And it has a lot of fan service. It has a lot of like ideas of just like, we're just gonna keep doing this, and that's that. And even the gameplay is a lot of fun. Like, and to add on to the tension, you also have that added a fear of, if I get bitten, I will become like a zombie. But for right now, I'm like really powerful and I can do a lot more things than I could if I'm clean. But there's a timer that I have to go by, so I have to get cured at some point. And there is a cure that you could pick up. But And to me, I really like that even your AI partners could become infected. At that point, I just recommend killing them because they just respawn anyway. But I mean, I like the idea. I think the only issue is the AI is just kind of sporadic, especially with your comrades. They're not really helpful at times. They mainly get in your way more than help. The Another thing I just didn't like was they threw Spec Ops in the mix, which is pretty much just throwing cops. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna fight some zombies. Oh, cops are over there. Time to kill them too. It's like it gets in the way of the narrative, and it really doesn't do the game any justice by having you fight two things, and especially since the Spec Ops mainly snipe you, which is annoying, and it's just the worst part of the game, I feel like. Once they get over that, it's actually a pretty fun game. The team, and the even offer Team Deathmatch, and the Team Deathmatch mode is actually really one of my favorites in any game. Really makes me feel like I was playing Metal Gear Online for a while. There is a learning curve, and it's steeper than Metal Gear Online's, personally. Because I've always felt like in Metal Gear Online, you could always get better. You'll never just... I mean, it'll just take you maybe a match or two to get into it, but with this, it's like you will never win, almost. But what I like about the Team Deathmatch is they throw zombies in the mix as well. And yeah, I bash it for having Spec Ops, but in Team Deathmatch it's okay since everyone's on the same level. Like, it's not in a weird scale where the Spec Ops almost have a higher edge than you. So yeah, I really like this game. I really think it's a lot of fun. It's just, you have to get past a lot of the weird, awkward design flaws that it came with, but I really thought it was good. I don't think it was great. I mean, personally, I would give it a 7. It was a very average game in the sense of what they were trying to do with it. And even when I was playing it, I could tell that there was effort being put on in the background. There was no sense of, you know, like, oh, we're just gonna throw out a half-baked game. And a lot of people would like to say that that's what they did, but to me, it really felt that there was a care within this game. And I said something about Rising, but Rising was more successful with it. But this was just more of just like, you know, we're just gonna do our own thing, and, you know, maybe throw some fan service stuff here and there. And that's really what I liked about it. It really cared for the source material in a sense. There was effort, there was passion into it, and that's what I saw in it, and I liked it. I really do hope they do a sequel. I think the sequel will probably be better. If they just learn from the mistakes from this, I think the sequel would be much better if they were given the opportunity. So that's it for watching this. Thanks for watching this segment of failed games. The next one I'm gonna talk about is the Fuse. Well, the Fuse demo at least. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.